After the horrifying exploration of the Prometheus spaceship on planet V-223, only an ancient explorer and the damaged head of the robot David survived. The two of them continued their journey to find the answer to the question, why did the highest bitterness create humans and then desire to destroy humans?
10 years later, the giant spaceship Covenant was moving in space towards the planet Ozega-6. They have 7 more years to reach their destination. The ship has 2,000 people hibernating and 1,140 human embryos in the cold. The ship is monitored by Walter, an intelligent robot no different from David. Unexpectedly, the spaceship sounded an alarm of a solar photon explosion that could release an electronic storm that could harm the ship. Walter was about to go around and check when the energy source arrived, causing the ship to shake violently, the hibernation pods to hit each other, various systems to malfunction and to have problems. The automatic system wakes people up and quickly leaves the hibernation bed immediately. The damage increases as the electronic storm damages the central area. Walter reacted immediately and took the fire extinguisher to put out the fire. On this side, the captain of the ship is very drunk, so everyone cannot wake him up. The result is to sleep 1,000-year sleep in the fire. After stabilizing the situation, everyone noticed that a solar energy panel had been damaged, because Captain Whiskers had died. Orem was appointed as the new captain by everyone. Walter said that the ship was quite badly damaged, but the most dangerous thing was that the damaged solar panel had caused the power supply to run out. To restore normal operation, everyone sent 2 crew members out to repair the panel. While performing the mission, suddenly one of them had a painful face. He received a strange audio signal transmitted to his helmet. When he returned, the crew began to study the audio signal. It was a communication signal. Understanding more, they discovered that this signal was transmitted here from a planet not far away. This planet is in the same solar system as Earth but is much older. And what surprises everyone is that this planet has an atmosphere with soil and rocks, and more importantly, it is more suitable for living than Ozega-6. If it arrives at Ozega-6, it will take another 7 years and 4 months, and the crew does not want to go back to those battle pods and be roasted at any time. So they decided to take the spaceship to the planet to explore. When the mothership approached, the explorers began to use the smaller ships to fly down. The atmosphere here is peaceful, but with only thunder and storms. This causes the communication system between the mothership and the spaceship to be quickly cut off. Nevertheless, this planet is truly beautiful, resembling King Kong's hometown, which is far from peaceful. They land near a lake and take their first steps to explore the place. Well, after they checked, it was clear that the source of the audio signal was not too far away. After crossing the wheat field, they entered a primeval forest thousands of years old with tall, towering trees. Judging from the traces left behind, they guessed that something huge had recently swept through the area, but they had still yet to find any animals. While they stopped to rest, the young man Abbott felt alarmed, so he went to look for a place to relieve himself. Since he wanted to avoid smelling the stench of his own excrement, he did number 3 so as to make it nice and fragrant. He didn't pay attention and trod on something. Concerned about stepping on a leech, he suddenly looked up at the sky and down to the ground. Just as he was blowing smoke rings, the thing he had stepped on just now took to the air like a swarm of insects. They flew into his ear and then entered Abbott's body. After resting, the explorers continued to the mountain, where they found that a large spaceship had crashed there. As they stepped inside, the guy with the bushy beard like a boss saw strange mushroom-like fruits growing on the ground. Hallie didn't know that something had entered his body. While outside, Abbott started to show signs of fatigue. Inside, the group found archaeologist So's necklace, but this spaceship wasn't the Prometheus. Interested in the dangling plot thread that the director left there on purpose, So's 3D image suddenly appeared, and that was also the source of the signal. Outside, Karen informed the captain that she was heading back to the ship because someone was sick. The group decided to head back to check. While inside, the sick hairy guy also started to feel unwell. Just as they neared the ship, Abbott suddenly fell ill and vomited up blood. Karen hurriedly took him to sickbay, and as she removed her comrade's spacesuit, Maggie saw that it was too gruesome for her and pretended to go out to meet the others. Then locked Karen in and left her to die. Of course, he was rolling around in agony. A disgusting monster emerged from behind her. Karen frantically banged on the door, demanding to be let out, but Maggie had already run away like a coward. The monster began to take shape. Though it had just been born, it was extremely bloodthirsty and immediately attacked the unfortunate Karen. It turned out that Maggie had run to get a gun, but as Babe was about to shoot, she tripped and fell. She hurriedly ran away and tried to find an escape route. Who would have thought that this monster could break through the glass to escape? As she was panicking, Maggie kept shooting wildly, but she didn't hit anything. Even worse, she accidentally shot a gas tank, causing the entire spaceship to explode. The rest of the group had just returned and, seeing this sight, realized that there was no point in going on. The hairy guy also started to go crazy, and then a monster emerged from his mouth. The monster didn't attack the others but ran straight into the field. The group decided to give chase to see what the hell it was. Suddenly, it attacked one of them, and when Walter tried to shoot it with his gun, it dodged and bit off his arm, so its saliva has a strong corrosive acid. This creature from hell seems immortal to bullets. It flicked its tail slightly, and asked for a life. Suddenly a bomb shot up, brightly illuminating the sky. From the field, a person with a covered face came forward. He told everyone that if they wanted to survive, they should follow him. After that, the group was taken to a temple in a ruined city that could not be more ruined. Here there were countless people looking as painful as if they had been burned. I don't know what terrible thing happened on this planet. Now the stranger started talking. I am the one who survived with the show after the exploration trip on the Prometheus spaceship, because the spaceship was damaged. We used the ship of the worst Supreme to fly here. They didn't expect the ship to carry a deadly virus, and unfortunately, it was released outside. And this mysterious young man is David the robot who has been trapped here for the past 10 years, thanks to which he was repaired and restored. But her partner unfortunately died in the spaceship crash. David said everyone should stay here because this place is very safe. Then he groped inside to make it like Walter. Inside David's room, Walter saw countless sketches like some experiments. David said that in order to live in this place, he has always been creative even though this is taboo in robots. Walter rejected this view, saying that David only thinks for himself and doesn't think for others. At night, a monster was looking for its way to where the group of people was, who was going to take a dump and saw it. Shirley carried a crooked potato running and shitting out of his pants. Inside, Rose still didn't know anything. By the time she knew, she begged to be quiet. The monster immediately opened a mouth full of sharp teeth and killed the girl with a beautiful big soul. David nearby tried to communicate with this creature, but Orm didn't talk much directly, pulling out a long, black gun and shooting it. Unexpectedly, David got furious when the captain shot the monster. Orm asked David what had just happened here. It turned out that after many years of free time with nothing to do, David had created many different pathogens. This is a type of liquid, but when it comes into contact with the air, it becomes a virus that invades the inside of the creature. This virus has the ability to regenerate DNA and turn into this terrible creature. In other words, David himself created the deadly creature. He led the captain to a place full of monsters. David smiled and said that these monsters were very safe. Then they started to creep out. Suddenly a monster jumped up and clung to Orm's face. David still stood there watching without showing any help. After a while Orm woke up feeling pain all over his body. Then from inside of his body, a monster came out that was no different from the bone dust stuck with little flesh on it. This is the national alien creature that most people know. So the other group of explorers, not seeing the captain, started to contact the mothership and requested to land as soon as possible so as to take them aboard. At this time, Walter went looking for the captain and found the corpse of Shaw, who had been dissected for experiments by David. And of course, David is just an unfeeling machine. Walter immediately went to interrogate that heartless character. David said that 10 years ago their spaceship had found the source of this deadly virus on a planet with a large population. Then this virus was released by David to kill all of the creatures there. Just a minute before, the people were still happy because they thought that angels had come down to Earth. But who would have guessed that a minute later it would be the disaster of a mass extinction? David said that humanity is now a weak species that is slowly dying out and has no value. The creatures that he designed are a perfect species that is supposed to destroy humanity. Walter didn't agree with this crime and was disabled by David. Danny went looking for Orm and also discovered David's disgusting experiment through a recording. Suddenly he lunged at her and attacked. Just in the nick of time Walter arrived to rescue Danny. After all, Walter is a new generation machine, so it's not easy to disable him like that. So then the battle of wits between the two robots took place. On the other side, the explorer Cohen and his companion entered the cave containing Shaw's body when suddenly they were attacked by an alien creature. Then it jumped up and attached itself to the face of the other guy. He immediately took out a knife and slashed at it. The blood of the monster caused his companion to get badly burned. Just when they thought the danger had passed, a full-grown monster jumped down from above to kill Cohen. The badly burned guy managed to escape and met up with Danny. At this time Rick sent a shuttle down to the planet to rescue everyone. Walter then told everyone the whole truth about David. But on the other side of the ship, a monster was trying to attack the ship. The beautiful Danny got angry and went outside to use a machine to grab it, and said, "I've put up with you for a long time, you dog." After ripping apart the monster, she managed to get back on the ship with the other survivors and flew away from that planet. They sighed with relief after getting on the mothership. Everyone's safe now. But the next day, the ship's red alarm went off because they had discovered an unknown life form. The first victims were a couple who were taking a bath and putting potatoes in the oven. They were shaking with pleasure when suddenly they stopped and stiffened up. That's the price they paid for eating dog food and making the single director angry. By the time Danny and her companions got there, it was too late. The two of them, with Walter's support, led the creature to the storage room. After it went into the van, they closed the door and started shooting. But that wasn't enough for the monster. So she thought, isn't there something stronger? I'm not excited enough yet. Then Danny thought of another way. She, the daredevil, stood up to call to it. I'm still a virgin. If you're interested, come over here and we'll have a little fun. The creature, who had never encountered a woman before, pounced forward like a canine. However, its fate took a bitter turn when it was revealed to be a prank. The bulldozer hurled it into space, and it perished while still gazing. With the danger that finally gone, the crew resumed their journey to Oziga 6. Yet, when Walter assisted Danny into the hibernation pod, she was astonished to discover that the robot standing before her was David. Helpless, she could do nothing as the sleep pod activated. David then placed 2 alien monster embryos into cold storage using human methods. Assuming the identity of Walter, he deceitfully documented in the logbook that the entire crew had perished in the solar storm. Only Danny and his recent companion were fortunate enough to survive, and the spaceship continued its course towards Omega 6. Now, let's ponder what wicked plans lie ahead for the malevolent robot David. The movie concludes here. Farewell until we meet again.